What if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle's children was a lie? Her own father just dropped a bombshell that could change everything, and the evidence is more damning than anyone imagined. Before we dive into this explosive revelation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this story is about to get wild and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thomas Markle just shattered the carefully constructed narrative his daughter has been selling to the world. In a candid interview that's sending shockwaves through royal circles, he revealed something that changes everything we thought we knew about Archie and Lilibet. "I know for a fact that she had frozen her eggs," Thomas stated without hesitation. But here's where it gets really interesting. He didn't stop there. According to multiple sources close to the family, Meghan allegedly underwent a hysterectomy shortly after having her eggs extracted, making natural pregnancy impossible. This revelation comes from a man who watched his daughter's Hollywood dreams unfold, who saw her marriages crumble, and who knows the financial realities she faced during her struggling actress days. Thomas Markle isn't just throwing around baseless accusations, he's speaking from personal knowledge of his daughter's medical decisions. The timing of these procedures is crucial. Reports suggest this all happened during Meghan's marriage to Trevor Engelson, long before Prince Harry entered the picture. But here's the kicker. Maintaining frozen eggs isn't cheap, and Meghan's financial situation was far more precarious than anyone realized. Let's talk about the elephant in the room: money. Everyone assumes Meghan was rolling in cash from Suits, but the reality is far different and much more revealing. According to industry insiders and union records, the lead actor on Suits was earning around $25,000 per episode during the early seasons. But here's what's shocking. Meghan wasn't the lead. She appeared in only 138 minutes across 108 episodes. That breaks down to barely over a minute per episode when you do the math. Her actual per-episode salary? A measly $7,000, and only when she appeared on screen. Some episodes, she might have earned that for less than 2 minutes of screen time. After taxes, agent fees, and living expenses in Toronto, Meghan was barely scraping by. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Storing frozen eggs costs between $8,000 and $9,000 per month. Yes, you heard that right. Per month. For someone earning maybe $7,000 per episode, appearing sporadically, this was financially impossible to maintain long-term. Multiple sources suggest that after her divorce from Trevor Engelson, Meghan could no longer afford these monthly payments. The clinic allegedly tried to collect the debt, but when payments stopped coming, the eggs were destroyed. That's standard protocol in fertility clinics. No payment means no storage. So if Meghan lost her eggs in 2014 and allegedly had a hysterectomy, how exactly did she give birth to 2 children? The math isn't adding up, and neither are the official stories. Prince Harry has always painted himself as the victim of media manipulation, but recently surfaced footage from 2003 tells a completely different story. Long before he met Meghan, Harry was already showing the world exactly who he was. And it wasn't pretty. Royal biographer Penny Junor didn't mince words back then. She revealed that 16-year-old Harry was caught smoking cannabis and drinking illegally in pubs near Highgrove. But this wasn't just teenage rebellion. This was a pattern of destructive behavior that the palace worked overtime to cover up. He has been drinking underage in pubs and drinking a lot and behaving pretty badly, Junor stated on camera. This was years before the army, years before the carefully crafted image of the reformed prince. The palace machine was already in full damage control mode, spinning narratives and burying stories. What's fascinating is Harry's relationship with the press. He claims to hate media intrusion, but the truth is more complex. He hated being exposed. As long as his behavior went unreported, he was perfectly fine with the arrangement. The military service, the charitable work, the reformed image, it was all part of an elaborate public relations campaign. When Harry met Meghan, he found someone who understood the game even better than he did. She had spent years in Hollywood, learning how to manipulate narratives, how to play victim, and how to turn controversy into opportunity. Together, they became a formidable team of manipulation. But here's what makes this partnership so dangerous. They're both narcissists who enable each other's worst impulses. Harry provides the royal connection and built-in victim narrative, while Meghan brings the Hollywood playbook and shameless self-promotion tactics. Body language experts and keen observers have noticed something unsettling about Meghan's interactions with her alleged children. There's a coldness, a detachment that goes beyond normal royal reserve or even narcissistic personality traits. Watch any footage of Meghan with Archie or Lilibet, and you'll see what experts are talking about. There's no natural maternal bonding, no instinctive physical connection. The children appear uncomfortable, almost like they're being handled by a stranger rather than their mother. This becomes even more suspicious when you consider the constantly changing appearance of the children in different photos. Social media investigators have documented how Lilibet looks dramatically different from one appearance to the next. Different facial features, different proportions, different mannerisms. The infamous Disneyland photos show a little girl in a pink dress who looks nothing like the child in the yellow dress photos from the next day. These aren't just different angles or lighting. These appear to be completely different children. Even more telling is Meghan's behavior during her alleged pregnancies. The dancing video that went viral showed her twerking in a hospital while supposedly overdue with Lilibet. Medical experts have pointed out numerous problems with this scenario. First, hospitals had strict COVID protocols in 2021. Masks were mandatory, especially for pregnant women considered high risk. Second, a woman who's overdue would typically be induced, a painful process requiring epidural medication that would make dancing impossible. Third, the prosthetic belly was so obviously fake that even casual observers could spot the inconsistencies. Here's something that should outrage every taxpayer in Britain. Meghan and Harry are still listed as working members of the royal family on the official website. This isn't just a clerical oversight, it's a deliberate choice that has massive implications. Every time Meghan posts a video, makes an appearance, or creates controversy, she's doing it as a representative of the British monarchy. The morality clauses that govern royal behavior specifically exist to protect the institution's reputation, but they're being completely ignored. When Prince William gives a serious speech about ocean conservation in Monaco, people are simultaneously seeing Meghan twerking with a fake belly in a hospital video. The contrast is jarring and damaging to the entire royal brand. King Charles had the power to remove them from the website immediately after they stepped down, but he chose not to. This decision sends a clear message that there are no consequences for behavior that would get any other royal stripped of their titles and privileges. The HR titles on the children's passports tell the same story. Queen Elizabeth was reportedly firm that these titles should not be used publicly or privately, but Charles apparently caved to pressure and allowed immigration officials to include them on official documents. This isn't just about titles, it's about institutional integrity. If the monarchy can't enforce its own rules with its own family members, what credibility does it have with the public? American birth certificates have specific requirements that make the Archie and Lilibet documentation particularly suspicious. Royal titles cannot be used as first or last names on U.S. birth certificates. It's simply not legally possible. Yet somehow these children allegedly have documentation that includes their HR titles. This required either falsified documents or special exceptions that don't exist in American law. Either scenario raises serious questions about fraud and official corruption. The timeline inconsistencies are equally problematic. Meghan's alleged IT due dates, hospital stays, and recovery periods don't match up with her public appearances and documented activities. She was photographed looking completely normal days after allegedly giving birth, with no signs of recent childbirth. Medical experts have pointed out that women who experience the complications Meghan claimed, including preeclampsia, require extended recovery periods and careful monitoring. Yet she was apparently dancing and making public appearances almost immediately. The lack of traditional royal birth announcements, the missing godparents, the absence of standard protocols, everything about these births breaks with centuries of royal tradition. When combined with the physical evidence and financial impossibilities, a clear picture emerges. Royal family members are bound by morality clauses that exist to protect the monarchy's reputation. These clauses cover both public and private behavior, with the understanding that representing the crown is a 24/7 responsibility. Meghan's recent actions would trigger these clauses under normal circumstances. The hospital dancing video, the obvious fake pregnancy prosthetics, the exploitation of children for content, all of this violates the basic standards expected of royal family members. But here's the problem. The clauses are only effective if they're enforced. King Charles has shown no willingness to take action, despite mounting evidence of behavior that damages the institution he's supposed to protect. This creates a dangerous precedent. If Harry and Meghan can violate these standards without consequences, what stops other royal family members from doing the same? The entire system of royal accountability breaks down when rules aren't enforced consistently. The mainstream media's reluctance to investigate these inconsistencies only makes the problem worse. Instead of asking hard questions about birth certificates, medical records, and timeline discrepancies, they're focusing on celebrity gossip and manufactured controversies. The royal family finds itself in an unprecedented situation. They can't acknowledge the deception without admitting they've been complicit in fraud. They can't investigate without risking explosive revelations. And they can't ignore it because the evidence keeps mounting. King Charles is particularly vulnerable because he's been portrayed as the loving father who just wants his son back. But enabling fraud and deception isn't love. It's weakness that threatens the entire institution. The longer this goes on, the more credibility the monarchy loses. Young people already question the relevance of the royal family, and these scandals only reinforce the perception that they're out of touch and hypocritical. International relationships are also at stake. The British monarchy's soft power depends on respect and admiration from other nations. When that respect erodes, so does Britain's influence on the world stage. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of this entire situation is the mainstream media's refusal to investigate obvious inconsistencies. They have the resources, the access, and the responsibility to ask hard questions, but they're choosing not to. This isn't just about protecting Harry and Meghan. It's about protecting the entire establishment that benefits from the current system. Advertisers, media executives, and political figures all have stakes in maintaining the status quo. But independent investigators and social media sleuths are doing the work that professional journalists won't do. They're documenting the inconsistencies, analyzing the evidence, and asking the questions that need to be asked. The contrast is stark. Citizen journalists are uncovering potential fraud, while billion-dollar media companies focus on fashion choices and celebrity gossip. This represents a fundamental failure of the Fourth Estate to serve the public interest. Beyond all the fraud allegations and royal protocol violations, there's a more serious question about child welfare. If these children aren't biologically Meghan's, what's their actual legal status? Who has custody rights? What happens if the deception is exposed? The constant use of these children as social media props raises additional concerns. They're being exploited for content, photographed without consent, and used to generate income through various media deals. Child protection services in both Britain and America have specific guidelines about using children for commercial purposes. These guidelines are being violated regularly, but enforcement seems non-existent when it comes to high-profile cases. The psychological impact on the children themselves is also concerning. Growing up in a web of deception, used as props for public consumption, and potentially discovering later that their entire origin story was fabricated, these are serious issues that go beyond royal drama. This scandal has implications far beyond the British royal family. It involves American birth certificates, immigration documents, and potentially international fraud charges. The FBI and other agencies have jurisdiction over some of these matters. If the allegations are true, this represents one of the largest fraud cases in modern history. It involves deceiving multiple governments, falsifying official documents, and exploiting children for financial gain. The diplomatic implications are staggering. Britain's relationship with America, Canada, and other Commonwealth nations could be severely damaged if the scandal explodes into international headlines. The precedent this sets for other royal families worldwide is equally concerning. If the British monarchy can't police its own members, what does that say about royal institutions in general? The questions surrounding Meghan's children aren't going away. As more evidence emerges and more people start asking hard questions, the pressure for official investigation will become impossible to ignore. Thomas Markle's revelations about the frozen eggs are just the beginning. There are medical records, financial documents, and witness testimonies that could expose the entire deception. The royal family has a choice to make. They can continue enabling this fraud and watch their credibility crumble, or they can take decisive action to protect the institution. King Charles's legacy will be defined by how he handles this crisis. History will judge whether he chose to be a father or a king when the two roles came into conflict. The British public deserves answers. They deserve to know if their tax money is supporting a fraud. They deserve to know if their royal family has been complicit in one of the biggest deceptions in modern history. The truth has a way of coming out, no matter how powerful the people trying to hide it. And when it does, the entire world will be watching. What do you think? Are we looking at the biggest royal scandal in centuries? Or is this all just speculation and conspiracy theories? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more explosive revelations that the mainstream media won't touch.